Town. To the locals, it's Danville. To the rest of the state, it's known as Titletown. Our guest here today is a proud representative of Danville High School. Sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
I'm Joseph Scott Burke II. I go by Joedy Burke, former Danville wrestler, currently Danville's head wrestling coach.
And you know a little bit about state championships there in Danville. I think my research says that Danville has 11 football state championships, one of the best smaller school powerhouse football-wise in the state. Just an absolutely phenomenal program there at Danville. And the wrestling isn't too bad either. You know a thing or two about winning the state wrestling championship. 1994 was your year, 189 pounds. We'll talk about that. We'll get into the video and let you walk us through that here in a little bit. But first, I think the question that most people start off with, they like to know is, the year is 1994, you're a senior, but what year do you find wrestling and how do you get into it back in the late 80s or early 90s?
My first official full year of wrestling was 1990. I found wrestling a couple years earlier than that. My brother wrestled for a little while, so I was introduced to that when I was younger. I went and watched wrestling for him, watched him wrestle, and that always intrigued me into it. And then the head coach stepped down, and Vince Tucker took over, and he was a football coach. He was my football coach, and he told me that his first year of wrestling was going to be my first year of wrestling. And I already had some good buddies wrestling. The Cottons were a big wrestling family in Danville, and I was close to them.
I got you. Now, did you play on any of the state championship teams for Danville?
I played on the 1991, 1992 state championship teams, and at that time, the 42-game win streak.
Oh, my. So you got 2 football state championships and an individual wrestling state championship. That's pretty good. It really is. The Danville, if you just said the word Danville anywhere in the state, when it comes to high school athletics, they're probably going to say football. They're probably going to say, oh, yeah, they beat us out in the playoffs one year. I remember, they beat us on our homecoming or, whatever. Just about everybody's got a Danville football story where their team got beat by Danville. It's because the program was so good. But let's talk a little bit, though, about the Danville State Wrestling Champions. I've got the list here. I like to do this with all of our videos. You're our first Danville wrestler on the channel, so we like to give everybody the history of the program. The first state champion was Nick Barker in 1970 at 130 pounds. 1979, John Clay at heavyweight. 1979, Todd McCanley at 138 pounds. Todd also was voted most outstanding wrestler that year. 1980, Todd McCanley won again at 145. And also Dave Lanham at 112 in 1980. 1982, Paul Chaney at 145 pounds. And sadly, Paul is no longer with us. He passed away in 2020. So Paul, the family of Paul Chaney, if you see this, our condolences to you. We have his match video. If you would be interested in doing a memorial video, reach out to myself, reach out to Joedy. He can get in contact with me. We'd love to do a memorial and get Paul on the channel. 1983, Greg Selby at 185 pounds. 1987, Jim Clay at 155 pounds. 1991, Dickie Castleman at 130 pounds. Also, Dickie was the most outstanding wrestler that year. He beat Craig Bertelson in the finals. And also to the family of Dickie, we know Dickie passed away, I believe, in 1998. If the family of Dickie Castleman or friends or teammates watch this and would like to do a memorial video for Dickie, I would love to do that. I have his 91 finals, face-off, and medal ceremony, so we could do a great memorial for Dickie. And then you're the last, 30 years ago, man, you're the last Danville State Wrestling Champion. So 10 individual state wrestling champions. And I believe that in my research that the best team finish that Danville had was in 1980 they come in state runner-up. Is that correct on that?
That is correct.
Okay. So you get into wrestling, you're playing football. When do you realize, okay, I'm good at this. I can be something special here at Danville. I can be on that wall with the state champion list.
Well, to be honest with you, you just mentioned him. His name was Dickie Castleman. That was
Okay.
he was a teammate of mine.
All right.
And I'll never forget, we went down to the Woodford County for some reason. I think it was a dual match. And he introduced me to Joe Carr as Danville's next state wrestling champion, which was a lie because it was him.
Well, yeah. And if anybody knows anything, if anybody knows anything about wrestling, it's Coach Carr. I mean, he knows what he's doing. So, but I guess that was good confidence on the part of your teammate Dickie there, saying, "Hey, this guy, he's got it." You know what I mean? He's got it. Of course, you win it in '94, but as we've said, of course, you're the head coach of Danville, and we've said it in other videos, and it should be said as often as we can to younger wrestlers or even wrestlers that have been wrestling a while, is you just can't replicate the experience of the state tournament. No matter how many matches you get in your career, off season, going to tournaments, national events, until you're there and you see the KHSAA logos and all the teams are represented, and you know at the end of this tournament, a state champion is going to be crowned. You just can't replicate that feeling, that emotion. You just can't replicate it. And I bring that up because you had one of probably the best state finals matches in 1993 that had probably ever happened up to that point. And let me tell you why. Overtime back in the 90s was completely different than what it is today. You're in the 171-pound state championship match in 1993 against Matt Hecker from Woodford County. When the 6 minutes are up, you guys are tied 4-4. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the overtime back then was 3 1-minute periods, like an additional match, correct?
Actually, I think it was 2 periods. There was 1
2
minute.
periods.
We have 1 minute of 2 minute of sudden death takedown, and then you had 1 30-second period, flip of the coin, got to choose top or bottom.
I got you. And in that first overtime, you guys are tied 0-0. So you go to another overtime, and he ends up winning 1-0. Did he get an escape on you? Is that what happened, or do you remember?
Oh, yeah, he got an escape on me.
I got you.
I remember exactly. I tried to throw in a leg to deceive him because I'd never tried it before. And he stuck his hands back there and blocked it and shook me right off the top.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, man. And I believe you're a junior that year, so you get one more swing at the plate. You know what I mean? It was a great learning experience. You had all that mat time, and especially the eyes of the state. I'm sure the fans held on to every single move that you guys made. Every time that you done anything, the crowd is engaged as the state finals are. I can just imagine how intense it was. Unfortunately, 1993 is one of the videos matches or state finals years, I should say, that we don't have. So if you have that 1993 video, please reach out to us. We'd love to have that full tape or any matches from it, because we're just about to. We've got 38 of the 61 years so far on video, but 1993. It's eluded us so far, but if it's out there, we'll find it. But 1994, though, is your year. You're a senior coming in, of course, and you start off the state tournament with a fall over Kevin Wilson from Jeffersontown. So you're in your first round, man. Sometimes you got to go out and make a statement. Let everybody know, hey, I'm the guy to beat here. I'm the guy that's going to be on that number one podium at the end of this tournament, right?
Yes, sir. I think I went in ranked number 1. That first match, I was trying to get on and off that mat about as fast as I could to conserve my energy, and I didn't really want any of the guys that never seen me wrestle scout me.
That's a smart idea. Now, before we go any farther on that, kind of, we've been told throughout the years that there's been like, for the 2-day tournament, there's only been like a 1-day weigh-in or 2-day. Do you remember, was 94 a 2-day weigh-in?
Absolutely, 94 was a 2-day weigh-in.
Okay, because we've heard stories, whether or not they're accurate, but we've heard stories that, you know, it's a 2-day tournament, a 1-day weigh-in, and some guys wrestling in the 103-pound weight class will come in weighing 140 in the state finals. So I could see that happening, you know, back in the day. But if 94 is a 2-day weigh-in, then that's good to know that, you know, they were keeping everybody honest. You know what I mean? The quarterfinals, you're wrestling Mike Hubbard from Christian County, and you win that by a 6-2 decision. So you're in the semis. I'm not saying you're back where you want to be, because you want to be back in the finals, but you've made it this far. You get to the semis, and you're wrestling Junior Brown from Union County. You win that by a 5-3 decision. So you've had, you know, two pretty, were they tough matches? Just couldn't get a turn? What, squeakers?
Absolutely. The quarterfinals was a Christian County kid, and he was tough. He was really strong.
Mm-hmm.
I think I ended up beating him by blasting him with a double leg. And to be honest with you, Junior Brown was even worse. And I think I only won that by 1 point, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong.
Okay, and we have, over, you know, doing all the videos that we've done, we have found that a couple of the brackets, like the result or whatever, may not be right. So, but this bracket, I don't know if you can see that or not, it says 5-3, and I got it off the case. So if that's incorrect, but if you want it by 1, we'll take your word for it.
I can't remember that well, but I remember he was good. He was definitely a tough opponent.
I know, I get it.
He almost edged me out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you, maybe Jody's video brought you to the channel. Of course, Union County, they're a dynasty in Kentucky wrestling over the last going on 20 years. But before, to hear the Union County people talk and people around the state, the Union County dynasty as we know it now is actually dynasty number 2, because they started this run in 2007, and they've been on the tops, you know, ever since. Every now and then somebody will knock them out. You've had your couple, Campbell County, St. Xavier, Paducah, Tillman, a couple other teams here and there, Fern Creek. But for the most part, if they're not winning it, they're number 2. But Union County also had a dynasty in the late 70s, early 80s. And the like with Danny Lovell that we've interviewed, a couple other people from Union County that we've met with from back in that area, or back in the era, I should say, is that the Union County would always have maybe not a stud team from top to bottom like they do now, but they always had 1 or 2 just hammers. And it sounds like that Junior Brown was one of their hammers that you just happened to run into.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a very respected wrestler in the state. I think he was ranked 3rd in the state that year, if not 2nd. I can't remember exactly.
Well, I would say no lower than 3, because I would say McKinley was probably number 2 if I had to guess. I don't know that. You were there, I wasn't, but that's just me guessing.
McKinley could have definitely been number 2. I think he had a strong finish at 171 the year before.
Yeah, I don't have that bracket in front of me, but I do know. Well, we'll talk about that just in a second. I don't want to get ahead of myself. You get to the finals again. You're wrestling McKinley Stepp from Sheldon Clark, and this bracket has your records. It's got McKinley's record at 46-4, and it has your record at 25-1.
That's correct on my record for sure.
Okay. And you know, we have to ask, tell us about the one, because I know you remember it.
I absolutely remember it. It was U.S. Lampert from he's an Indiana wrestler. And I actually beat him the year before in the Connor finals, and I was wrestling him again in the Connor finals. And I remember trying to move, and I remember thinking, hey, this is dangerous when I did it. And I said, well, I'm unbeatable. I thought I was unbeatable, and he proved me wrong, and he headlocked me. I think he pinned me with 1 second left on the clock.
Oh, my. Oh, my. Did Tom Hardy officiate it? You remember?
I can't remember who the official was, to be honest with you.
I was gonna say if it was Tom Hardy, I have to send him the video. We know Tom watches, real respected official. Tom watches a lot of the stuff. Every now and then he'll reach out to us or see us at a meet and say he watched this video or that. Or I remember refereeing that match, the district finals between these two or whatever. So, but I just wanted to throw Tom out there. Now McKinley, he was in the state finals in '95 against Tendai Cherisika. That video's on the channel. And I put McKinley Step on of course you win. We're not going to tell you the score, but I put McKinley Step on my Mount Rushmore of the best, like 171, 189 pound wrestlers to never win a state championship because he was good. He was tall, very strong from what I've been told. And his brother Bruce wins the heavyweight this year. Bruce, 3-time state champion, one of the best heavyweights Kentucky's ever seen. He's still Bruce was one of like the first 2 or 3 videos that we done. And as soon as I posted it, people were reaching out on social media like, oh my God, I've always heard the stories about Bruce Stepp. He was an animal. I can't believe you actually got video of him. So, Bruce is a monster. McKinley, same way, just a beast. And Sheldon Clark wins the team title this year. They won it back-to-back years, 94, 95. So you're not looking for a walk in the park here. You don't have a cakewalk. I mean, you're wrestling somebody that is, if you even thought about messing up, McKinley could probably put you on your back and hold you there till the cows come home.
I definitely didn't have a cakewalk. In fact, I wrestled McKinley in the regional finals, and I won in double overtime. So I
did you really?
knew I had a big match on my hands going into the finals.
I'm glad you said that because I didn't know that. So when we all youngsters, for those of you that don't know, we didn't used to have one of these things in our pockets or in our hands all the time. Sometimes we had to get things through the mail, or we had to get like what was called a fax. Look up what a fax machine was. So did you get to see the brackets before you got to the state tournament, or when you get there, it was just like surprise, here they are? How'd that work back then?
No, they would actually put the brackets out, but the coaches had to go get them.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So they do those blind draws, and then they print the brackets out. I think you had to drive somewhere to pick them up.
That's what I was going to say. Danville, for those of you who don't know the geography of Kentucky, Danville to Lexington isn't that far of a trip. What, 30 minutes, maybe 35?
About 45 minutes from Danville to Lexington.
I got you. Okay, so less than an hour trip, not that bad. Did you guys go up and get the brackets that year? Do you remember?
Say again, sir?
Did you go up and get the brackets?
Oh, yes. We went and got the brackets. I definitely looked at the brackets when I saw it.
I was going to say, knowing Jim Matney, of course, Coach Matney's no longer with us, but knowing Jim Matney the way I did, or do, I should say, I would just about guarantee he was there whenever they printed them off the copy machine. He's probably one of the first ones to get a copy. So when you see that bracket and you see that, of course, the way it goes, regional cross bracket, when you see that McKinley's on the other side of that bracket, do you think, okay, I'm probably going to see him again in the state finals?
I wasn't sure if I was going to see McKinley in the finals or not. To be honest with you, I knew he had a good chance. They had a guy that year from Hopkinsville that I thought was going to give
Livingston Merritt.
I thought he was going to give McKinley a big run for his money, but he didn't make it to the semifinals.
McKinley beat David Ketchum from Scott in the semifinals.
And David Ketchum beat Livingston Merritt in the quarterfinals to get there.
Yep. Yeah, that's correct. And Livingston, of course, 3-time state champion. His videos are on the channel. He one of the best 215 heavyweight wrestlers the state's ever seen as well. He was a monster. Still is a monster. I mean, he could probably go out and get on the podium now. But wrestling McKinley in the regional finals, going to double overtime. Did you guys practice or kind of scheme for what he was good at or stay away from in like the week before leading up to it? Or
Well, we had two guys that did filming for Danville at that time, Mr.
okay.
Danglemeyer and Mr. Cotton. So I had the McKinley film from the regional match, and we broke it down, had a game plan going up for McKinley just in case he made it. So absolutely, we'd done some homework on McKinley.
Yeah.
I was glad to see McKinley make it over Livingston because I already had a game plan, and I was making a game plan for Livingston.
I got you. I got you. And the let's see. I'm trying to think here. Sheldon Clark that year. I think, of course, Bruce wins it. They had two or three other guys in the finals that year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they had six.
6 in the finals.
I think they had 6 in the finals.
Okay, because I know they had Archie step in the finals that year. They had a couple other guys because Tendai beat Archie. And then the next year, Tendai beat McKinley in the finals. And that Sheldon Clark team, man, that year, I think it was either the 94 or 95 team. They were nationally ranked by like USA Today or something crazy like that. Coach Matney told me that. And then I think Bruce may have told me that or somebody else. They were nationally ranked. The reason they got nationally ranked that year because they beat Grundy in a duel, and Grundy, I think, was like number 2 or 3 in the nation, and that's what got them ranked. So what I'm saying all that to say that the quality of wrestling, people think that, from a certain year on that Kentucky wrestling's got good, but there's been great wrestling in Kentucky for a long time. It just hasn't been accessible like it is with this channel, like what we're doing with the review videos. It just hasn't been seen. And I want to keep putting over just how tough of a match it was, not just for McKinley, or having to wrestle you, because you're coming in only with one loss to an Indiana guy. So I'm sure Jim Matney had every day in practice, he's like, all right, we know Jody's going to do this. Jody's going to do that. Let's scheme away from it. So I would say they game plan for you probably as much as you game plan for McKinley. Probably.
Oh, I'm sure they had a game plan for me. They had me on film. They watched. They had the same film I had. I think I just wrestled a better game plan against McKinley a little bit, and I frustrated him a little bit.
Okay, no, I totally get it. Now, we met, of course, we've been at tournaments and stuff for years and years and years, different places, but I think it was at the girls' region this year, 2024 regions. I told you that I had your state finals match, and we kind of got linked up. Now, has it been a while since you've seen your state finals match?
I have not seen it for at least 10 years.
Okay. Well, I love being able to say this. The wait is over because we're getting ready to pull it up here. Now, this is not my doing. What you're seeing is not mine. Is that the proper spelling of your name?
My spelling is actually Joedy, but
okay.
Other than that, it's the correct.
Whenever I saw that, because whenever you sent me the text with your name, I thought, maybe it was an autocorrect issue, but I guess the video company just went with a common spelling. So I saw that and I was like, I'm going to ask him about that, if that's the proper name or the proper spelling or not. But man, I'm excited. We have the match and the medal ceremony. So here we go. Of course, you're in that blue and white singlet. Now,
yes,
from
sir,
neutral here, what are we looking to do from neutral? What's your go-to bread and butter takedown?
Well, right now, my idea is to kind of pull on his neck a little bit, and I want to keep him in the middle of the mat. He was good at escaping takedowns on the out of bounds. So one of my game plans is to keep him in the middle. Right there, he was smacking my head, and I had a really good arm drag. I don't think they knew that.
Oh, well, it worked right there.
Yeah, it's they were unaware of my arm drag. No one had arm dragged me for a while or had been smacking on my head for a while.
Right. Now, on top here from the referee position, he's trying hand control. You're going, looks like near a far ankle.
Yeah,
There he is
I was just
going
trying to
the
kind of loosely ride him a little bit.
right.
I wasn't too worried about holding him down.
I got
I
you.
was just looking to see if an opportunity occurred.
And
So my game plan was to wrestle him in neutral for most of the match.
yeah, I get it. And right there, you can kind of tell McKinley. He's probably 6'2", 6'3", I would say.
Absolutely, he's definitely 6'1", if not better than that.
Yeah.
He had good reach, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted a tight tie.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you keep seeing me going to that left head, so I can
Right.
make sure I get him a little control. You can see he's not scared.
Yeah.
Boom.
Right there, he tried for like, I don't want to say a throw, but you were able just to power through that. You get another takedown.
Well, that's one of the reasons. That's one of the ways I scouted him right there. He had a little funny step, and I kind of waited for his little funny step, and then I blasted him with it.
I get it. That's the end of the period, and the video was cut like that whenever I got it. Did he take down, I'm sure?
Absolutely, he took down.
I got you.
And he was hard to keep down. But
Yeah.
I was going to loosely ride him and hope that he exposed himself, and he just did not.
Yeah. No, though. I mean, you can watch the film that we have, the review videos, or whatever. I mean, the Sheldon Clark wrestlers back then, man, they were fundamental. They weren't flashy. They were just so fundamental.
Oh yeah. So I know I've got the lead here. My whole thought is I'm not going to take any chances.
Yeah.
But I want to capitalize on any points I can spread the distance with it. I've already been to overtime with this gentleman, so I know he's a threat.
Yeah. Right there, you get another takedown. And I believe that's Gene Washington officiating, correct?
That is definitely Gene Washington refereeing.
And I'll have to tag him in the videos. Gene reaches out and says, you know, he loves watching the matches. He remembers, brings back a lot of good memories for him.
Now, I watched McKinley row a few people, so that was one of the things I was trying to ride loose for and not let him catch me in one of those Granby rows.
And I could see, as tall as he is and as long as his legs are and arms, I could see him doing that in a heartbeat. Right there, that's his third escape that he's got on the line like that.
Yes. Now I'm really trying to play good defense. I don't want to take any chances right now. I got a good lead. So yeah. I'm basically I'm trying to get through this match without letting him score a takedown. That's where I'm at in my wrestling right now.
Now, that's Coach Matney over in that corner. Who do you have in your corner over here behind you?
My senior year, Vince Tucker was still the head coach, and that's Shane Dunn, a former Danville alumni wrestler. He was our assistant coach that year.
Okay, I got you. At the end of the period, and you point down, and the video was cut like that. I'm not sure if they just didn't film it. He let me up. But you get your one, so it's now, I believe, 7-3.
Yes, 7-3. He's going to get a penalty point in this period somewhere. I was being a little aggressive.
Okay.
Trying to frustrate him. I might have got a little too aggressive. Gene was always a really good fair ref.
Yeah. Yeah, we got Gene in a lot of videos back in the 80s and 90s. A lot of state championship matches.
And right now I'm just trying to keep him off balance so he can't shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm using heavy hands on him. He's fighting through it really well. I know I don't need any points, but I don't want to come complacent. Too many times wrestlers get leagues and they lose it in the end because they don't try to score.
Yep. And like I said, especially as tall as he is, I mean, one wrong step or one back step. I mean, I could see a good single leg being able to finish. All right.
And there's his penalty point.
Yep.
Yes, he called me a little bit for headbutting there. I was probably a little guilty.
Huh.
I don't remember that part. He got away.
Yep. Keep it in the center, fellas. Keep it in the center. Next one backs out stalling.
Yeah, he was good at getting away from those takedowns, but he covered a lot of ground with those feet. They got me for stalling there. I was guilty of that for sure. I was hanging on that elbow, making sure he didn't headlock me. I'm going to get back to the inside control there.
Mm-hmm. You're still attacking. And that's the end of the match. You win by a final
make
score.
Sure he didn't get that last little surge of point.
You went, and here's the medal ceremony. You getting your bracket and your medal. That's Jack Klein giving you your medal and your bracket. Joedy, man, that's where this one ends. So watching it back after all these years, you said there was one point you don't remember, but does it play out point-wise and everything the way you remember it?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I didn't remember being so aggressive at the end of it. I thought I was a little more stally at the end. I'm kind of glad I wasn't.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. You were a senior, been in the state finals before, tons of experience, and something that we've seen on the channel is people that have been there before, whether they won or lost, is they don't really do stuff they're not comfortable with. They don't get into the state finals and do crazy, the spinning moss covered 3-handled family gradunzel that they learned off of a TikTok video or whatever. They knew what they were good at, and this is my game plan. I'm not going to deviate from it. If I get beat, I get beat, but I know I'm good at this. I'm not going to put myself in danger trying something I am not good at. And that seems to me like that's what you done.
Yes, I went in there trying to keep him in the middle. My game plan was to shoot double legs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I scored on 2 of those. And I think my other takedown was on a go behind where he shot in. And I caught him in that little go behind. Mm-hmm. But I saw a couple of double legs fail. I think I shot like 4 or 5 that I didn't actually get down. I think too many wrestlers get discouraged off 1 or 2 failed shots and try something new when really they just need to go back to their bread and butter and keep it working.
Absolutely. And of course, you're coaching. And how long have you been coaching wrestling? Just a ballpark, 25, 30 years?
I'd say I've got at least 15 years in as wrestling coaching, assistant and head.
I got you.
Maybe 20.
The reason I bring that up is we're filming this in February 28, 2024. I couldn't tell you the number of teams in Kentucky that are first-year, second-year programs, and the number of teams that we've been told are starting up next year, next couple of years, just getting a coach or getting mats, whatever it is that's kind of holding them up. So if you would talk to the new wrestlers coming in, the new coaches coming in, what's a few little tips, a few little things that you wish you would have known, whether it's as a wrestler coming in or as a coach coming in, that you can share with the rest of the viewing audience here?
Work your basics and then work. Don't know where your weakness is. Is your weakness on top? Is it on bottom? I hope it's not neutral, because that's where most wrestlers dominate.
Yeah.
But find your weakness. My best advice is get a first move from the bottom. Always move from the bottom. That's one of the things that I did first that made me get better. I could get away from you, and then they take me down, and then I'd get away, and then they take me down. But eventually, you get better at neutral too.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: if nobody can hold you down, and nobody can take you down, then they can't win. And my weakness was definitely top wrestling. And ironically, I lost a state championship by getting rolled off the top from top wrestling against Matt Hecker, as we mentioned earlier. But
Yeah.
know where your weaknesses are. I knew mine was top, so I always concentrated on bottom and neutral. But I should have spent a little more time on my weakness.
No, I mean that's great advice. We know we've been at meets in different places throughout this past couple of years, and we've whether it's like parents or like a youth team coach, middle school team coach, whatever, they'll tell us that they'll set their teams down and they'll watch certain state finals matches from like when they were in school, or they got beat by this person, or names like your Kyle Rochelle's, your Jacob Merton, some of the more prominent names that we've had on the channel, and they'll watch their match video and they'll be like, they'll watch a little bit. Okay, they'll pause it. Did you see how Jacob Merton hit that? Whatever. Or did you see how Kyle Rochelle done this? That's what we're going to practice. That's what you got to get good at. And it's good that we can have such a resource with this, that we can learn the history, have the history so accessible. State championship matches like yourself, hear your story where you've been around the sport of wrestling for so long in the community of Danville and Boyle County, and hearing the knowledge that people that have been there before of what they wish they would have known. Because you do, I mean, and like we've said in other videos, you can't just get somebody like Brock Irvin to come to your house and do a week-long seminar. Austin Myers, Kyle Rochelle, Dominic Black, just we go on and on with some of the names, the prominent names that we've got on the channel. You can't go to every one of your wrestlers' house every day and coach them every single second of the day. But if you can give them just a little bit of information that they may not have had, or they just maybe didn't process in practice, they're watching this video and they're like, you know what? I've heard Coach say that. I've heard him say first move on the bottom. I've heard him say, this or whatever, and it actually sinks in. They'll come back to you and be like, Coach, I remember you saying that. I'm going to work on that. So it's cool that we have this platform and this series to be able to document the history and just spread the knowledge that gentlemen like yourself have gained throughout the years. And I like to give everybody the opportunity before we end the video. Anything you'd like to say, anything you'd like to add, any thank yous or anything else you'd like to add, man, the floor is yours.
Well, I would like to personally thank my Danville coaches that helped me, Vince Tucker and Shane Dunn and the late Tom Sellers. Were three of the greatest Danville coaches that I had, and Jeff Selby was also an assistant coach of mine. Those are all four of my coaches from Danville. And the coach that I had that wasn't my school coach, I spent a lot of time down at Wolford County. Joe Carr was a great influence in my life in wrestling, probably more than he actually realizes, and Coach Green from Lafayette as well.
Yeah, and it's
Coach Fred from that was Coach Green's assistant back in the day.
Oh, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Coach Green then was at Tate's Creek, correct?
That is correct. He was
That's
at
what
Tate's
I thought.
Creek at that time.
That's what I thought. And Coach Green's been around for, you talk about a resource. We talked to Coach Green. We're gonna wrangle him in again to do a coaching perspective video. He mentioned it 2 or 3 times at the state tournament, and every time I'd be like, Coach, we need to get up. What's your number? He's like, I'll contact you. You know what I mean? It was like dealing with like a mafioso. I'll contact you. You won't contact me. Whenever I want to do the video, I'll get up with you. So Coach Green, holler at me, man. Let me know what's going on. And man, it was great to get you on the channel. Great to get the video on. That way you can have a copy. We know the VHS tapes don't really hold up as well as people just, you youngsters that are in high school now never had to deal with the VHS tape. You just don't understand how fragile those things are. So if you have them of whatever, get them converted to digital like we have this video. We have it forever now, a digital copy of it. And it's just great that we can share it and let the world see, man, just what goes on with Kentucky wrestling, just how good that it has been and how good it is. And I'm more excited about what's coming with our girls' state tournament now, our boys' state, the number of teams that are growing. And this channel, man, I want it to be a resource for everybody, not just people from a certain part of the state or certain areas or whatever. This is for everybody. This is from Pikeville to Paducah to Northern Kentucky to Wayne County, Central Kentucky, Lexington, Danville, everywhere in between. This is everybody's. And we just want to celebrate Kentucky wrestling the best that we can. So, Coach, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed getting to watch yourself. We'll send you the video of the state finals match once we get everything done. But I believe that's all that I got. Any parting words?
No, thank you. And make sure you do off-season wrestling, guys. You hard to get that title if you just do the season wrestling.
And I think that's a great way to end. So thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Danville, the ads, get up with me. We'll get some memorial videos done for Castleman and Cheney. But until then, we'll see you guys and girls on the mats.